All right, so we are going to finish our notes on solving systems by substitution. So just a reminder, sorry, I have to get there, what we did. So remember, in order to do substitution, one of the variables needs to be alone. Okay, so one of the variables needs to be alone, and then you just substitute it in. So remember, if the teacher is out, the substitute's in, and when the substitute's there, the teacher's not there, right? But before we use substitution, we have to solve one of the equations, right? So we have to look at our x's or our y values and figure out which one's going to be the easy variable. So which one of them, the easy variable, means the coefficient of 1. So which one of these has a coefficient of 1? Well, that's going to be your x value right here, right? That has no number, so it's an implied 1. So we're going to solve this bottom equation for this very first number, okay? So think about, how can I move a 2y to the other side? Well, the opposite of a positive 2y is going to be to subtract 2y on both sides. Those y's cancel. We're left with x equals, which is what we want. We just write -8 minus 2y. Okay, so now we have a variable alone. So now we're going to take that variable and we are going to plug it in into the top equation for whatever it says. In this case, it says x equals. So we're going to plug it into the top equation for x. So I'm going to write 3x minus 2y equals 0 because that's my equation. Now I'm getting rid of this x. It's going away. And I'm replacing it with what this is right here. So I'm going to write -8 minus 2y in that spot. So there was an x. It's now gone. It's replaced with what x is equal to. And now I'm going to solve this equation. So please take a moment to pause the video and solve this on your own. Hopefully you know to distribute. When you distribute it, you should have gotten -24 minus 6y. And then we just rewrite the rest of the problem down below. Now we're going to combine our like terms. 6y and 2y are like terms. So I have -8y minus 24 equals 0. Now it's just a two-step equation that you do the opposite of subtracting 24. Then we just take it one last step and divide everything by -8. So we get y equals -3. Now remember, our answer to an ordered pair, to a systems, is an ordered pair. So we have y, we need to go back and find x. Well, we're going to plug -3 in for y into the equation. So my equation was x equals -8 minus 2y. I know that y is -3 because that's what we just said down here, right? We're going to solve this now. X equals -8, -2 times -3 is +6. -8 plus 6 is -2. So that's my answer. This ordered pair right here is my answer. So I'm just plugging things into the other formula, other equation to solve the answer. Okay. Again, sometimes you'll have to solve for x. You might have to do that on the homework tonight. So just keep your eye out. We're gonna do one of these two word problems because word problems are a lot. So we have to decide what our x is equal to and our y is equal to. So pause the video and watch. No, pause the video and read it to yourself, please. I'm going to read it now. You are planning a birthday party. You buy a total, I'm going to highlight as I go, a total of 50 turkey burgers and veggie burgers. I know they're $90. I pay 2 per turkey burger and $1.50 per veggie burger. How many of each burger do you buy? Well, remember we talked about this. Anything with money becomes one equation and the other number becomes the other equation. But before we do that, we have to figure out what two things are we comparing? Well, we're comparing turkey burgers and veggie burgers. So I'm going to say X is the number of turkey because that's the first thing I see, turkey burgers. And Y is the number of veggie burgers. It could have been either way. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do all the money first. Turkey burger. Turkey burgers, X. Veggie burgers, Y. The word per tells you to multiply. So my first equation is 2X plus 150Y equals the other money of $90. Okay, so money goes together in one equation. And then we're just putting the variables with it. The other equation is this 50, but it says a total of 50. So we don't know how many of each there are, but we know between the turkey and the veggie, there's 50 burgers. So neither of these equations are solved for Y. So we're going to have to go and figure out which one to solve. Remember, we're looking things with a constant, a coefficient of 1. So honestly, you could solve this equation for X or Y, but I'm just going to get into the habit of solving for Y because that's what we're used to. I'm going to solve this bottom equation for Y. So let's do that really quick by subtracting X. And we get Y equals 50 minus X. Now we're going to take that and plug it in for Y up here in this problem. So let's rewrite that equation. I'm going to just do my work over here. 2X plus 150. And instead of a Y, because we're not putting Y, we're putting what Y is equal to, which is 50 minus X equals 90. And then I'm going to solve that equation. So can you pause the video and solve that equation? So I want you to pause the video and solve this equation. When you distributed, you should have gotten 75 minus 150x. Combine your like terms, which are the x's. So we get 50x plus 75. Subtract 75 to get the x alone. Then you divide everything by the 50 cents. And you'd get 30. So x is equal to 30. Now we have to find y. Well, y is 50 minus x. So we're going to take our x and plug it in. So 50 minus 30. So y equals 20. Now we're going to put it into words, because we always have to have a sentence, remember? So how many of each burger do you buy? So I'm going to say I buy 30. Remember, X is turkey and Y is veggie. So we're going to put those into words. I buy 30 turkey burgers. and 20 veggie burgers. Okay. That's the notes. Feel free to come see me later in the day for more assistance.